Alright guys, this is Rayron here. We've got kind of a new layout that I'm going to be kind of showcasing in the next few videos. Now some of these you may already recognize, but this was originally part of my kind of the testing bed series when it comes to testing out particular engines. But now I'm going to rename it into the Dragon branch line. So this is a point-to-point modular construction. These are particularly 12 foot wide by 3 feet. This one right here is going to be 12 foot wide by 9 feet, and then the rest are going to be by 3 feet. So each one of these modulars have particular names. So this one is Beginner's Run. This was kind of like my first attempt at scenery. And as you can see, when it comes to the grass, kind of worked onto the roadbed there. This is Memorial Pass, because basically it's simulating like a rainbow bridge essentially. You're going through this kind of like tree section here, simulating those that have gave their life, because this particular modular I built under 48 hours. My club had a challenge of, can you build a modular under 72 hours? And this one I was able to get just under 48 hours. This one right here is my latest modular. This is Phoenix Point. Now the reason why is it Phoenix Point or Phoenix Junction? Oh, what's the name? I think this is Phoenix Point is what I named it. But anyways, this was a particular modular that its original life was a programming track. So it really wasn't used for any type of modular layout. It was used just to program engines. And it was run down. It was given to me by one of my club friends. And I decided to repurpose it and actually make it into a modular. Now this one I'm really liking because I don't know if I can test it here. I think I've got it all set up, but this right here is my first attempt at laying down a switch, and this one is a Pico unifrog, meaning that it can be converted either from a isolated frog or an electro frog, depending if you want to power your frog here. So you can see, normally in the electro frogs, you would have to make a cut here and a cut here to modify it, and then wire a jump wire from the out rail to the other rail. But Pico has discovered that, hey, we need to make this. And so they made it into a unifrog. So that's my first attempt at making it. Another thing is that we've got a switch here. You can actually use it to control a switch. And the way this is done is that underneath here, we have a Digitrax DS64. And that's connected to a tortoise slow motion switch machine. And all that is wired into my Digitrax. Now what's cool about this is that this signal can be controlled either from the point here, and then eventually, what I'll show you guys down here, if I go to switch 1, I can throw it from right here. And you can kind of hear it in the background, which is really nice that I can control from here. What that also gives me the capability of doing is controlling it from JMRI. And that's something I'm going to do a little bit more in the future when I get a Raspberry Pi computer to run my modular point-to-point here. So I love that feature. Now I put it next to the side just as an experiment to see if it'll work. And cosmetically, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, trying to hide it a little bit, but some people put the buttons on the sides. I mean, that's fine too. It just depends on the preference. I want to do something different and decided to put a button there. And then this last modular over here is the testing range. This was my very first modular that I put together. And originally it was going to be a single track mainline. But the club needed a 3-foot modular, and I was able to go ahead and put it on my double mainline here. So this is unfortunately Atlas. I'm not a big fan of Atlas. I have a lot of issues putting it down. One thing I like to do is I like using Pico track, and the reason being is because I can actually use a nail gun when actually laying down this track, which is pretty cool because the first thing you want to do is glue it down, and then the nails go in to really secure the track. And what's cool is that there's no other company that you can put a nail gun to that the ties will not split. And I think I used the smallest nail available, a finishing nail. I think it's like 3/18 of an inch long, and with about 60 psi on the nail gun, I'm able to actually use a nail gun to put the track in place so it doesn't move when it's gluing, when it's drying for the glue. Atlas track, you can't do that because that snaps the ties. I've tried micro engineering that also snaps it, and it's just the way to go. Pico is really, really good. So I got Pico there, Pico Flex Track, and then a Pico Unifrog, which I haven't had any issues yet with this particular Unifrog. All of the Atlas track that I tended to use, I've always find derailments. They're cheaply made, but I'm super satisfied with Pico, and our club is going to be 100% Pico track in the future modulars that we make. And again, that's Pico Flex, and that's Pico Flex. So code 83. But yeah, this is kind of an update video. Kind of why I haven't been posting content lately is because I've been working really hard to get this guy up and functional. But yeah, I'm really excited. This guy in the back here is a DC point-to-point Bachmann track that allows me to have a train go back and forth on DC. And you'll see a lot more videos of that coming soon. So yeah, this is the Dragon's branch line, basically a mainline DCC with a DC back and forth. But yeah, guys, that's basically the 4 modulars. You've got testing range, Phoenix Point, Memorial Run, or Memorial Pass, beginner's run. So those are the name of the 4 modulars. And you know, maybe someday we'll have a full modular layout. But with the guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.